Hey y'all, this is Jack McNiel Jr. with the Kempner Church of Christ here in beautiful Kempner, Texas. We're here today to talk about truth and really our relationship with truth. You see, contrary to popular opinion of today, truth is not subjective. Truth is absolute. Because truth really, when it comes to the religious world, comes from God's Word. God's Word is truth. John chapter 17 and verse 17, and Jesus' prayer before his trials, he said, "Sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth." And so it is important that we have a proper relationship with the truth of God's Word. You know, I guess we can look at this from two sides. Number one is we can look at it from the side of how to have a wrong relationship to truth. You know, the Bible in Romans chapter 1, verse 18, talks about those that hinder the truth in unrighteousness. Uh, there are those that change the truth of God into a lie in Romans chapter 1 and verse 25. And so hold it in unrighteousness, change it to a lie, or even just resist it. In 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 8, it says, "Now as Jannes and Jambres withstood Moses, so do these also resist the truth. Men of corrupt minds reprobate concerning the faith." It talks about there were some in the days of Timothy that were like those two magicians that stood between Pharaoh and Moses. They resisted the truth because they were men of corrupt minds. They were reprobate concerning the faith. And so he said there would be those in the church that would be like that. Another way to have a wrong relationship to truth is to turn away from it. In 2 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 4, it says, "And they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned unto fables." Another way to have a wrong relationship with truth is to speak evil of it. In 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 2, Peter talks about these false teachers. He says, "Many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of." You know, there were those in the church that were teaching that, well, you know, you're saved, but it's okay to go out and sin and be involved in the things of the flesh because you're saved anyway. And he says a lot are going to follow those pernicious ways, and it's going to cause the truth to be evil spoken of. You think about it, when the world sees a professing Christian going out there and living an ungodly life, they're not going to think very highly of Christ and of the church. Another way to have a bad relationship or a wrong relationship with truth is to hinder others from it. You know, in Galatians chapter 5, Paul is addressing the churches of Galatia that had been, many of them had turned away from the truth. They had embraced a doctrine that had been perverted. And Paul just simply asked the question, "You did run well. Who did hinder you that you should not obey the truth?" And in their case, it was those people we would refer to as the Judaizing teachers that were saying that the Gentiles had to be obedient to parts of the law of Moses if they wanted to be saved, which was absolutely a false doctrine. And so, how do we have a proper relationship with truth, on the other hand? Well, first of all, we've got to know it. John chapter 8, verse 32, Jesus said, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." You know, we can't understand and have a right relationship with truth if we don't know it. In Hosea 4, verse 6, there the prophet said, "My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge." Yeah, in order to have a right relationship with truth, we need to be able to handle it correctly or rightly divide it. 2 Timothy 2, verse 15 says, "Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing or handling aright the word of truth." We must love the truth. In 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 10, it talks about those that would be deceived, and it says, those that would be deceivers, "and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they received not the love of the truth that they might be saved. There are those that will believe a lie simply because they don't have a love for the truth. To have a right relationship with the truth, we must believe it. And 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 12 says that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. To have a right relationship with truth, we must obey it. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 22 says, seeing you have purified your souls in obeying the truth through the Spirit unto the unfeigned love of the brethren, see that you love one another with a pure heart fervently. And so they obeyed the truth. And then to have a good relationship with the truth, we've got to help it. In 3 John in verse 8, it says, we therefore ought to receive such that we might be fellow helpers to the truth. John was talking about those that were coming, they were going out to spread the gospel, and that Gaius, to whom he writes the letter, he is encouraging him to receive them and to be helpers with them in the truth. And so, in short, how do we have a wrong relationship with truth? Well, we hold it in unrighteousness, we change it to a lie, we resist it, we turn away from it, we speak evil of it, and we hinder it from others. To have a right relationship with truth, we must know it, handle it correctly, we must love it, we must believe it, we must obey it, and we must do everything in our power to further it. And so let us seek to have a right relationship with truth. Hey, have a great day, and may God bless you in all that you do as you seek His truth and as you live the Christian life as a disciple of Jesus Christ. Thanks for paying attention.